Hello. Okay, stop. Okay. I'm going to leave that in. That is hilarious. Letting the phone fall. You can tell that I'm holding the phone. Absolutely, can't you? It's right there. I'm just boom, like, ah. But yeah, okay, that's good. Anyways, welcome back. This is the 8th vlog. It has been a couple days since I made the last one. A mix of just being a bit tired and I work as well, so being a bit involved with that and doing PhD stuff. So a lot of what I do is a lot of it's a mix of doing coding, because unless you're doing like a pure mathematics type of study, you got to do something on the computer, and if it's in math or data science or whatever, you've got to code. And there's a number of different languages that are available. I started with R. When I was doing my undergrad, I did some Matlab, which, if you're not familiar with it, I think it means matrix laboratory. It's effectively a way of doing mathematics. It's a fully enclosed system. It's proprietary, so you got to pay for it. And it's set up so that you can just jump in, you can start doing stuff. They've got plotting packages so you could visualize what you're doing. And they work off of the idea that everything should be some sort of array of numbers or a matrix with multiple dimensions. And then I moved into R when I started doing statistics, and I really like that because they have some potential for some really nice syntax. And I think it's important when you're coding that you have not only can you code things effectively, but it looks coherent, it looks readable by a human. And I did R for a while, and that actually helped me to get a number of jobs because of my experience in R, and then therefore my experience with doing data visualization and my experience in what's called the tidyverse, which is just an ecosystem of packages that has a certain methodology for the way that you construct your arguments. Sort of generally speaking, when you do that, you also start learning about data frames, so rectangular structures of data. You learn about different ways that you could filter your data through scripting languages. So if you use Excel and you have some sort of data set that you're looking at, you could use the filter option, and you could say, I want to filter everything in this column. I want to filter everything via this column so that we only see the number 5 in this column, and what does everything else look like? So you could do a lot of things like that. That helped me get one of my first jobs as that plus having my experience in statistics and having gone through a number of mathematics courses. That helped me get my first sort of technical role as a statistical consultant. And this is kind of funny. The way that I was doing it was I started out where I was... I've done a number of things. I'll just do a little history of my job. So when I was a kid, I wanted to have a paper out, and I started calling the local paper, and I said, hey, I want a paper out. How do I do this? They said, okay, put your name on the list. Cool. All right, where do you live? Okay, well, we got a paper out person there. Just have to wait. So then I waited, and then I kept checking. A number of years went by, because I started when I was like 10. And I think by the time I was 12, I lived in the right area, and I was able to get a paper route. And then I did that for a bit, and then I moved, and I got a paper route in that area, so that was good. And then I did some fast food when I wanted to do some travel. I wanted to go to Austria, so I did some fast food work. My parents helped pay for some of that. You do various things, odd jobs. And whilst I was thinking about doing some sort of engineering in post-high school, I chose not to do that. I went into roofing, and then about 4 years after roofing, I got a license in California in order to sort of practice construction on a larger scale than just, say, an average handyman. You have to be licensed by the state of California, so you take a test, you show your experience, and then you pass the test, and then you have this license, you pay for insurance, you do jobs. So, I was 22, running a business, mostly by myself, sometimes with people. Moved to Australia. I wanted to make a change. I was enjoying doing construction, and there was a lot of freedom in it. So also a lot of stress, and it wasn't enough for my mind because it was too physical. So I did a number of different roles. I worked at Ikea, and I learned a lot about rugs. which was fun. I did some customer service, and then I got a diploma in counseling because I thought, oh, this would be really interesting. Spent about a year doing this online via distance, and then I got a job as a debt collector. So I used some of my skill sets that I had learned in terms of communication in the debt collection. Interesting role. You definitely meet a bunch of different people, and it's funny because the fact that the purpose of debt collection is they want their money. When you work at a place like that, you're not like having to, I don't know, like I've worked in sales, and you work in a sales place, and it'll be like, say, telephones, like, okay, look, everybody, the manager's like, okay, everybody huddle up, Monday scrum, Monday morning meeting, and we want to talk about, I'm just noticing there's a bag in the background right there, you see that? We had some work done up on the building. Anyways, Monday will be like, all right, everybody, we want to get these customers, and it's always under the proviso that you're doing it to help them. You have a product, a solution to their problems. And I'm sure in some instances that's absolutely the case. In other instances, bullcrap. You want to make sales and you want to increase your profits and all that stuff. And so you're dealing already with this dubious nature in the corporation. Working in a debt collection, it's very different. It's like, we want their money. And so there's something freeing with that level of honesty. But ultimately it wasn't for me. And then I went and I did some counseling. And one of the aspects I loved about the counseling was helping people that were smoking, helping them quit smoking. And the methodology that was used was sort of based around motivational interviewing, which is basically a whole style of communication developed by William Miller in America and Stephen something in the UK. Did that for a little bit, and then somewhere in the middle of the counseling, I thought, I want to get a degree and I want to be a psychologist. Doing psychology is quite competitive in Australia, so I was able to use the fact that I had a diploma to gain access to a Bachelor of Arts at a very nice university. Effectively, I just walked in because I had that diploma. I wasn't 18, and I was just doing a generic Bachelor of Arts, which means I could choose a lot of the courses. And I thought, okay, great, I'll do this. I'll do the courses that I need so that I could then transfer to that Bachelor of Social Science to do psychology. The first two courses that I had to do were what they call Math 1050, Math 1051. Or actually, I did Math 1049, Math 1050. That basically just meant, like, here's a refresher on mathematics from high school, and here's sort of an in-between high school and university. So it's like calculus, linear algebra, getting your head around statistics and things like that. And then as I was doing that, I was like, oh yeah, I used to love doing math in high school. And it's just like, no, I'm just going to do a math degree. And that's what kind of started it. So did that. About 2 years I had done courses in mathematics, discrete mathematics, so graph theory, logic, sets, group theory, abstract algebra, real analysis, which takes calculus but then proves rigorously why you can use calculus in the real world. Functional analysis, which is a much more abstract version of real analysis. It includes so much more, and you know, on a high level view, you need to understand functional analysis is what can really help verify proofs in algorithms. And if anybody that's watching this has more experience in these things than I do, you'll know that I'm glossing over so much and probably outright wrong, which, you know, I'm happy to get corrections. So I did a number of those courses, did some statistics, did a course in probability, thought it was awesome, mathematical statistics, like data analysis, advanced data analysis. And there I was learning Matlab and R, and then partway through my degree, I moved to California, moved back home. I had to do about a year in a community college, which is just to cover the general prerequisites that a California university wants every student to have that you need in order to transfer into a four-year university. So I did those, and then I finished my last year at California State University, Chico, in mathematics with a minor in statistics. And I used a bit of Python. Actually, it's more like a library of Python called SageMath, and I was doing what's called topological graph theory. So like a sphere is sort of it's an object in a topological space, and there's precise definitions for this. Anyways, graph theory is a study of connections and relationships between discrete objects, and I use Python for that, a little program called SageMath. And then finished the degree, moved to the UK. My online role that I was doing, so after I stopped counseling, I started doing, I guess I would call it education consultancy, because what I did was I worked with immigration lawyers in Australia, immigrants, and with educational units that would provide qualifications, and I act as sort of a middleman to assist people that were coming to Australia that needed verification. They needed to basically verify that they had a certain skill set. And the easiest way is to have a registered university, a registered college, give you a qualification that verifies that. And there are a number of means that you can do that, especially if you have experience or if you're willing to take some classes. So I would help facilitate that, and I was doing that. But that was sort of the dynamics, and the income flow was changing. And also living in the UK, I wanted to sort of just have a job in the same, basically same hemisphere, same time zone. Because for a number of years, I was doing this sort of educational consultancy in America, but based off of Australian time. So, it's back 2015. So I was a fully remote, self-employed, and all my clients were in Australia. That's okay, because 4 till midnight, basically in California, is the working hour of Australia. Whereas in the UK, it's like midnight to 8 a.m. is the working hour. So you could tell that just isn't going to work. So I was thinking about getting a job, but I was also studying. So I was a bit hesitant to find something full-time. And I saw this company in London that did statistical consulting. Basically, they were consultants where they provided some sort of statistical solutions. Called them up and I said, hey, I've got some experience, sent my CV and my degree information. Do you want to look at me as a consultant, as somebody that you just hire freelance? Did that for a year, did a number of interesting roles in there. One thing that's interesting is, let's say you have some data and you're like, what distribution is it from? Is it normally distributed? Is it exponential? So did a few tests, and you write a few things up to sort of facilitate the project that you're doing. And then I really needed a job, and so I applied for a data science role here in Scotland. But it was the fact that I sort of built in a mix of being entrepreneurial, self-starting, self-learning. Like, I teach myself so much that I had the skill set needed to apply for a data science role. And there's always good fortune and good luck and whatnot. And then that led me into my current role as a machine learning engineer, working in research with people under people that are sort of directing projects. But at the same time, I still haven't even finished my PhD. So there's an element that you can get roles that would maybe traditionally be only for people that have PhDs or whatever. I don't know. You just keep working at it, keep pushing through, and have a goal, and in a way, like, visualize it, do things for the goal, but also believe that you can accomplish it. Yeah. So I guess I'll just leave it there. That's sort of like a little work history for what I've done, which I've enjoyed. I need to get on doing some visualizations for the last discussion that I had about the sphere. So hopefully that's next. Even if it's just hand drawn, I'll show you what I was thinking. Okay, everybody have a great day. And I know I say this at the end, but obviously like, subscribe, all that. And yeah, look forward to talking to you guys again. Bye.